I've waited about half an hour, no vehicles have come past this way, and I can't wait all day. The water's not going to go down. If anything, it's going to rise because all the rain that's fallen down has to make its way up past here, so that's likely to raise the water level. So the plan of attack is to make my way down through this shallow part, slowly picking up pace until I get to the deep part where I will give it everything it's got. And hope to God my little car can swim. Oh, I'm laughing now, but I might not be in a little bit because I'm getting worried, to tell you the truth. If I do get stuck, in these situations, always thoroughly think through what you're about to do. What do I do if I get stuck? What's the plan B? And always have a plan B if things go wrong. I can try and reverse a little bit and go forward and try different ways. Yeah, let's just go for it. Oh shit. I hope I'm making a very big deal out of nothing. Okay, so already, I don't know if I want to go through there. Already in that shallow part, it was halfway up my tyre. And I don't know how deep the dark part in the middle is. I don't know. It's pretty deep. It certainly looks deep, and I just don't want to risk it. But I'm not in a bad spot here. I could always just camp here. There's no rush. There really is no rush. I'm going to hang around here. Oh, here's another vehicle. Here is another vehicle. Two vehicles. If these guys can get across, then I will get across too. But I'm just a little bit worried doing it by myself because there's no one here to pull me out. So let's see. Is he going to stop and chat? Is he going to stop and chat? How are you going? Interestingly, these are the same two people I had met several hours earlier at the start of Limestone Creek Track. The old guy told me that they were leaving because of all the rain. Now there's no town or shop within several hours' drive from that point, and they were only half an hour behind me. So for some reason they decided to stop and turn around. I don't know why they came back, but at this point I'm just glad that they did. Alright, I've just watched two cars go through. It's not that bad. I was getting worried over nothing really. Let's go. Oh, that looked a lot worse than it actually was. In fact, I would rate the earlier river crossing to be more difficult than this one was. But thank goodness I got through. Oh, it was deceptive. It was light coloured, clay coloured, and then it got dark, and dark generally means it's deep. Or in this case, the strong current in the centre part of the river simply washed the clay away. But luckily, it was fine. So onwards and upwards, and definitely upwards, because now we're going up to, well, we're currently at 915 metres, and the track is heading up. In this series, I'm going to be exploring a small part of this amazing countryside. For the first half of the trip, I'm travelling with some mates. And in the second half, I'm heading off by myself. The Vic High Country is a four-wheel driver's paradise. It has tracks to suit all types of abilities from easy to difficult. It has river crossings. It has forests and mountains. And we're going to experience it in all sorts of weather conditions. I get a chance to rescue fellow travellers and settle the age-old question of, does my car sink or float? Well, the rain has finally set in for good. The higher I get, the colder it is, and the more rugged the landscape becomes. Just watching the burnt-out trees looming up out of the mist has got me feeling rather uneasy. So I'm on Davies Plain Track, heading towards, I don't even know, I'm heading towards the next campground. This landscape is what nightmares are made of. Let's look at these twisted trees. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Really extremely rugged landscape. It's been raining most of the day. We get to these blackened, twisted stumps of trees, and it is very, very easy to get lost. The mist in amongst these blackened tree stumps, it really gives it an eerie feeling. And talking about eerie feelings, those two guys I met back there, one of them kind of gave me the creeps. See, the mind does strange things when you're travelling through a landscape like this. You're by yourself, you're in the middle of nowhere, extremely remote area. So they're probably very, very nice people, but there's the old guy. He's just old and crusty, and he's been living out here for years and years, and he's just old. He doesn't seem too bad. But the young guy that's with him, the young guy just gives me this axe murderer vibe. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but he never once smiled, he never once said a friendly hello or anything like that. He just stared at me with this serious, deep, piercing stare, and I got the creeps massively. And ever since then, my mind has been thinking about things, what if I get to the next campsite and there's nobody there and it's too dark to continue? What if they end up at the same campsite? I don't want to share a campsite with them. I'm sorry, but that's just going to make me feel super uneasy. I'm not scared, but I am rather uneasy. And now we've got the mist. You can see the mist behind me flowing over the mountainside and past basically covering the FJ and myself in mist. We're up in the clouds. It's getting cold, and I'm going to push on. And the weather just continued to get worse and worse. The fog seemed to get thicker. The ground seemed to get wetter. The temperature just dropped lower and lower. And this is the middle of summer. But then, to break the monotony, I've just had a minor mishap. I was driving over a ridge, and I couldn't see the ground in front of me because the front of the car was pointing up, and directly after the ridge there was a massive hole. Holy and the front of my car basically ran into that, hit that, it bent the number plate, and that seems to be okay still, hopefully, because that's my air compressor outlet. Everything else appears to be okay at this point, but I'm pushing on. I'm not stopping for any reason. It's actually rather cold. I'm literally standing in the clouds here. It's rolling across the hill, but I'm gonna keep moving, check out the next campground. Hopefully there are people camped at the next campground, and if not, I'm going to keep moving to the next campground until I find other people to camp with. But look at that. And so I pushed on through this dismal landscape, hoping that that was the last unforeseen event I was to have for the day. But alas, that was not to be. Much more was yet to come. I will be very glad to get back to the sealed road. So I'm tired. Diff locks on, yes, let's just drive and see what happens. If you love four-wheel driving and you love challenging tracks, come to the Vic High Country. There are tracks here to satisfy every type of four-wheel driver, whether you're just starting out or whether you're a seasoned veteran. You can tell just how much rain there's been. This campground is completely flooded, so I'm going to keep moving. Despite all the rain, the tracks are still quite drivable, and who doesn't like driving through puddles anyway? Oof, oof. Oh my god, that was a deep one. That little puddle, it didn't look deep. The car got through it. This car is unstoppable. As long as you know how to use it correctly, this car is unstoppable. After many hours, I finally came across another car, and he was signalling for me to stop. G'day, how you going? So, this young couple explains to me that they're stuck trying to get up this hill, and I can see why. It is unbelievably slippery. After falling over several times, I decide that the best thing to do is to tether the two cars together and try and pull them up the hill. So we get the straps out and shackle the cars together. I'm going to take up the tension, and then you want to turn your wheels to face this way. Unfortunately my winch isn't working, so I've got the recovery straps connected to a tree protector, connected to a snatch strap, which is not what you're supposed to use them for, but is the best we can do with what we've got. Considering how slippery the ground is, I'm not going to go any closer. Okay, taking up the slack. The strap should ideally have something draped over it to stop it from flying out if it should break, but in the heat of the moment I didn't think of it. The other problem is, my car is not getting any grip, it is so slippery. So, time to break out the Max Tracks. Max Tracks are worth their weight in gold. I never leave home without them. Well, this is a lesson. I need to get my winch working. This would have been so much easier with a winch, but apparently we can't continue ahead. There's too much flooding. and the track is just undrivable. So if I get this guy out, we're going to have to then go back and find a different way around. I have 2 max tracks underneath the FJ and 2 underneath the Prado. I'm placing them in the easiest place to get them under the tyres, but also I'm placing them in anticipation of where the tyres are going to go. Let's try it out. And the mighty FJ is pulling the Prado up the hill. It's slippery, but bit by bit, I'm pulling him up the hill. Look at that. Go little FJ. One more, you can make it. And we've done it.
That's better than where we were a few minutes ago.
I didn't realise, but during the recovery, we acquired an audience. Here are some Land Rover drivers that turned up halfway through the recovery.
Oh my god. Which way did you guys come to get to here?
By Limestone Creek?
Yeah, that's what this guy said, but he said there was 2 bits that were quite deep.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We went through 2 days ago. We planned on going through.
As we're packing up, inevitably the discussion turns to the condition of the tracks. So we break out the map and start comparing notes. The Land Rover drivers tell me that there's some really difficult terrain coming up with some uncrossable rivers, so they have turned back. Alright, onwards and upwards. I decide that uncrossable rivers is a challenge. Let's go for it.
All the best, mate.
See you later. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm now driving down the bit that they got stuck on. But going down is always easier than going up. With any terrain that is this slippery, the key is to take it extremely slow. I'm just nursing my car down the hill as slow as a caterpillar, just crawling down the hill. And that way, if it slips, I've got time to react and take control of the situation. I've decided to push on because I've come too far to turn around and go back. But the track is getting worse and worse, and in the back of my mind I'm worried that should those rivers be unpassable, I may not be able to get back up this hill by myself. But I've made my decision, so there's no other choice but to keep going now. See you later. Ah, that's what's making that noise. See you later. I wonder what damage I've done to my car on this trip. Oh, well, that was about an hour wasted that I didn't need, but that's okay because these good people needed help and I was able to help them. So I'm very happy about that. So I am once again travelling by myself. They're doubting the crossability of the river. We'll see what happens when we get down there. The track is definitely getting wetter and wetter the further I progress, which I'm not looking forward to. That was super slippery. I'm definitely not going to attempt to go up there again because I don't think I can get up there. I mean, I slipped over twice in the mud. It was so slippery. And that's just me trying to get a 2.5 ton car up there. No chance. Not in this slippery mud. And let's go. Oh, well, there's Davey's hut. Let's have a look at Davey's hut. Well, this is Davey's hut campground. And this is right after the recovery that just took place. And we have Davey's hut behind me. It is a really nice place. I'm kind of contemplating on staying here tonight. Alternatively, I can go check out the next campground, which I think is not too far away. And if I don't like that, I can always come back here. So this is the hut. I can smell smoke. We have a fireplace here. There's some firewood. And there's a little shelf here with some items that people have left. There's a box of matches, some beans, that looks like sliced green beans. That looks very, very old. Coffee. That's nice. It's certainly keeping the spirit of helping your fellow traveller alive. Imagine if you've got some problem, or imagine if you're lost in this wilderness with the horrific landscape that we were driving through earlier. If you were lost and on foot and you stumble your way into an area like this and you see a hut and it's got firewood in there and it's got coffee and it's got a frying pan and a couple of basic provisions, but it's got enough to get you through till the morning. The hut has a little side hut here which has a frying pan in there in that box, and it's also got a nice collection of firewood that someone has very thoughtfully gathered together there. So let's go check the map and work out what to do. Okay, I'm going to go to Buckwong Creek, and there's also Dogman's Hut. I try and get to Dogman's Hut because that is right next to the Murray River crossing, and then if I don't like that, I can always come back to either one of these two. I'm actually not too far from the end of this track, but from here on the obstacles come thick and fast. Okay, this looks like the river crossing, which isn't too bad. So they would have made it all the way down to here and then took one look at the river and came back. But that doesn't look too bad to me. It is a very deceptive area to go forward driving in. And let's just go into the water. We're in, yep, turning these guys on. Oh yeah, there's no problem at all. Not a problem at all. But getting up the other side, holy crap. Let's go nice and slow. Slipping sideways here. Sideways, sideways, sideways. But I'm trying to go as slow as I possibly dare because I'm at a 45-degree angle and I don't want the car to tip over. It does have a rooftop tent up there, and so you know what? Oh, that's interesting. Am I stuck? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, here we go. Alright. Let's just find an easier route up. Let's go this way. There we go. No sooner did I make it through that obstacle, and I came across the next obstacle. This is a peat bog. This is the last thing that I expected to see here. So I slowly approached it, and I can see that it is impassable. So, time to get out and have a walk around and try to find a way through. Okay, so you can see up ahead that the track curves off to the left, and that is super dug up. That is impassable. So then people have gone to the right of that, and that's super soft, and all the way across the landscape people are just driving further and further onto the grass and cutting that up. And I'm afraid to say, as much as I hate to make new tracks, because that's one of the rules, don't make new tracks, but there's no other way up, and I'm trying to drive as gentle as I can, but to give myself the best chance of getting up there, I'm going to have to, because the ground is firmer over here, and there we are. Unfortunately, it happens. We have to, essentially there's no going back. There is no going back. I can't go up that hill that the guy got stuck on, because that I don't think I'm going to get up there. It's too slippery and wet. By the way, this is rated as a... Oh no, this is still a extra difficult track. This is still the double XD. So we are still in the extra difficult part of the track. The next part, we're getting close to the track becoming a medium difficulty, and then we should be right from that point onwards, until of course the river crossing. So we are now getting to the medium part of the track and on our way to the next campground. One bit of good news for the day is, for the moment at least, the rain seems to have stopped. This area should be renamed the Black Forest, because that's exactly what it is. There's been bushfire through here, and all the trees are black. It's really quite pretty, with the mist just coming up, just rising up out of the valley and slowly enveloping the trees. The Vic High Country is an amazing place. I love the variety of scenery and the amazing tracks. I'm having a fantastic time. As always, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the conclusion of this trip in the next episode.